Horsemeat scandal spurs appetites. Europeans have been rattled by recent revelations, which exposed that horsemeat has been found in frozen food products billed as containing beef. The issue came to light in a report which states horse DNA has been discovered in frozen beef burgers sold in several Irish and British supermarkets. The analysis also stated that 23 out of the 27 samples of beef burgers contained pig DNA. It raised questions about the truth in labeling and the integrity of food supply chains. But the news focused on the horsemeat debacle instead of the topic of wrongful labeling. While horsemeat is not harmful to health and is eaten in many countries, eating horsemeat is abhorrent in countries such as Ireland and the UK. There has been a similar speculation that horsemeat might be used at fast food chains, since beef is becoming more expensive in the US. Based on culture and customs, the majority of Americans will not consider eating horsemeat. That is the kind of the unpleasant news that will displease people who don't like or aren't familiar with the taste of horsemeat. In some countries, including France and Germany, that are more accustomed to eating horsemeat, the sudden spotlight on horsemeat is good for horsemeat business. One Frenchman, who watched butchers cutting up sides of horsemeat at an agricultural fair in Paris, said, "After all the talks about horsemeat in the media, I am curious to give it a try." As a matter of fact, in France, renowned chefs have special ways of presenting horsemeat so that they are considered delicacies to the palate. But of course the meals hit the pocketbook pretty hard. France's consumption of horsemeat has risen around 10% to 15% over the past 2 weeks, says Eric Vigoreau, president of the Association of French Horsemeat Butchers. In France, horsemeat consumption peaked in the 1950s and 1960s, when horsemeat was believed to be beneficial for children's growth. Horsemeat was forbidden by the Catholic Church in the 18th century, though people turned to it in times of famine or war. From the second half of the 19th century, after the sale of the meat was legalized, eating horse became more common. For the poor, old horses no longer fit for labor often represented a cheap source of protein. Today, there are around 700 horse butchers left in France. In Paris, the shops can still be identified by the horse head busts that often hang over the entrances. Horsemeat's low-fat content and high nutritional value make it a desirable food source. It's tastier than beef, says a chief executive of a company that specializes in Finnish-style salami.